Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Gerry Philbin, the legendary defensive end for the New York Jets and a key figure in their historic Super Bowl III victory, passed away at the age of 83 in June 2025. Philbin was widely celebrated for his toughness, leadership, and remarkable skill on the football field, earning him a well-deserved place in the Jets' Ring of Honor and recognition as one of the best defensive players of his era. Born in 1941 in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Philbin played college football at the University of Buffalo before being drafted in 1964 by both the NFL's Detroit Lions and the AFL's New York Jets. Choosing the Jets, he quickly established himself as a dominant defensive force despite being considered undersized at 6 feet 2 inches and 245 pounds. Over his career, Philbin unofficially recorded an impressive 64.5 sacks, ranking 4th in Jets history, and was one of only 2 Jets players to have double-digit sacks for 4 consecutive seasons. Philbin's defining moment came during the 1968 season when he led the AFL with 14.5 sacks in the regular season and was instrumental in the Jets' stunning upset over the heavily favored Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. His relentless pass rushing and defensive prowess helped hold the Colts to just 7 points, securing a 16-7 victory that remains one of the greatest upsets in NFL history. Teammates and coaches remember him as a born leader and a fierce competitor who played through injuries, including a memorable playoff game with a separated shoulder. Throughout his decade-long career with the Jets, Philbin was a 2-time first-team All-AFL selection and AFL All-Star, earning respect for his work ethic and leadership both on and off the field. After leaving the Jets in 1972, he spent a year with the Philadelphia Eagles and finished his professional football career with the New York Stars of the World Football League. Philbin's legacy extends beyond his statistics and accolades. Former teammates recall his camaraderie, humor, and mentorship, qualities that made him beloved in the locker room and respected throughout the league. His induction into the Jets' Ring of Honor in 2011 cemented his status as a franchise legend. In his later years, Philbin battled dementia, a condition his family confirmed as the cause of his passing. His death was mourned by the football community, with many honoring his contributions to the sport and his role in one of football's most iconic teams. Gerry Philbin's life and career exemplify dedication, resilience, and excellence. He remains a towering figure in Jets history and an enduring symbol of grit and determination in professional football. Lea Massari, the iconic Italian actress whose enigmatic presence defined a generation of European cinema, passed away at the age of 91 on June 23, 2025. At her home in Rome, her career, spanning over 4 decades, left an indelible mark on both Italian and French film, and her performances continue to resonate with audiences and critics alike. Born Anna Maria Massatani on June 30, 1933, in Rome, Massari's early life was shaped by both personal tragedy and cosmopolitan experiences. She spent her childhood across Europe, following her father's engineering assignments to Spain, France, and Switzerland. She studied architecture in Switzerland, but her life took a dramatic turn at age 22 when her fiancé, Leo, died suddenly. In his honor, she adopted the stage name Lea, a tribute that would become synonymous with elegance and depth in European cinema. Massari's film debut came in 1955 with Forbiddens, but it was her role as Anna in Michelangelo Antonioni's La Ventura 1960 that catapulted her to international stardom. Her portrayal of the woman who mysteriously disappears during a Mediterranean boating trip remains one of cinema's most compelling and discussed performances. The film's ambiguous narrative and Massari's haunting absence set a new standard for arthouse storytelling, with critics and fans alike captivated by her ability to convey vulnerability and mystery. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Massari became a fixture in both Italian and French cinema. She starred in Valerio Zerlini's Indian Summer and Louis Malle's Oscar-nominated Murmur of the Heart, 1971, where she played Clara, the complex mother of a precocious teenager. Her versatility was further showcased in commercial successes like The Things of Life and Sergio Leone's debut The Colossus of Rhodes, 1961, where she brought grace and sophistication even to lesser-known projects. Massari was not only a leading lady, but also a respected collaborator, working alongside cinematic legends such as Alain Delon, Jean-Paul Belmondo, and Omar Sharif. In 1975, she served as a jury member at the Cannes Film Festival, a testament to her standing in the international film community. Her accolades include the Nastro d'Argento for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Francesco Rossi's Christ Stopped at Eboli, 1979, and a David D. Donatella Award for A Difficult Life, 1961. Despite her fame, Massari valued privacy and retreated from public life after retiring from acting more than 30 years ago, rarely making media appearances and choosing to live quietly in Rome. In her personal life, Massari married Carlo Bianchini, a former Alitalia pilot, in 1963. The couple separated in 2004 and had no children. Friends and fans remember her as a woman of intellect, elegance, and profound sensitivity, a star who brought authenticity and emotional depth to every role she inhabited. Lea Massari's passing is mourned as the end of an era in European cinema. Her legacy endures through her unforgettable performances and the timeless films that continue to inspire new generations of filmmakers and audiences. Bailey Hutchins. Bailey Hutchins, a 26-year-old registered nurse and beloved TikTok personality, passed away on February 7, 2025, after a brave 2-year battle with stage 4 colorectal cancer. Diagnosed in early 2023, Bailey courageously shared her health journey on social media under the handle @HealingWithBailey, where she amassed over 160,000 followers. Through her videos, she raised awareness about the importance of early cancer screenings and inspired countless individuals facing similar challenges. With her honesty, strength, and unwavering faith, Bailey's cancer progressed despite multiple surgeries and chemotherapy, eventually spreading to the lining of her abdominal cavity. Throughout her illness, she remained a beacon of hope, openly discussing the physical and emotional toll of her condition while encouraging others to prioritize their health. Her husband and caregiver, Caden Hutchins, expressed profound grief and admiration in heartfelt social media posts, describing her as a light in any room and praising her courage and spirit. Bailey's passing has left a deep impact on her family, friends, and followers worldwide. Her legacy endures not only in the awareness she raised about colorectal cancer, but also in the inspiration she provided through her resilience and compassion. Caden and her loved ones have vowed to keep her memory alive by continuing to share her story and advocating for early detection and support for cancer patients. Ben Christman. Coroner releases cause of death for former Ohio State lineman Ben Christman. Ben Christman, UNLV football transfer, found dead at 21. Cause of death revealed for UNLV football player Ben. UNLV football's Ben Christman dead at 21 from heart disease. Ben Christman, a promising 21-year-old college football player for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, tragically passed away in his sleep on February 11, 2025, just days before his 22nd birthday. The cause of death was later revealed to be cardiac arrhythmia and cardiomyopathy, conditions that affect the heart's rhythm and muscle, respectively. Born and raised in Akron, Ohio, Christman began his collegiate football career at Ohio State University before transferring to UNLV in December 2024. As an offensive lineman, he was highly regarded, having been a 4-star recruit out of high school and ranked among the top interior offensive linemen nationally. Despite his young age, he had already made a meaningful impact on his teammates and coaches, earning a spot on UNLV's leadership committee shortly after joining the team. In the days leading up to his death, Christman had experienced chest pains during football practice and underwent an electrocardiogram (ECG) at UNLV's facilities. Although the initial results appeared normal, the underlying heart conditions went undetected, leading to his sudden passing. His death sent shockwaves through the college football community, with coaches, teammates, and fans mourning the loss of a talented and beloved young athlete. UNLV's athletic director and head coach Dan Mullen expressed their heartbreak and extended condolences to Christman's family and friends, emphasizing the positive influence he had during his brief time with the program. Ben Christman's passing highlights the critical importance of cardiac health awareness, especially among young athletes who may be at risk for silent but serious heart conditions. His legacy lives on in the memories of those who knew him and the impact he made both on and off the field. Norma Mora. Norma Mora, the iconic Mexican actress from the golden age of Mexican cinema, passed away on February 11, 2025. At the age of 81, she died peacefully at the Casa del Actor, a retirement home for actors in Mexico City, where she had been living since 2002. Norma was surrounded by the love and respect of her fellow residents, staff, and friends during her final moments. Born Norma Helen Garcia Mora, star on April 30, 1943, in Mexico City. She was of diverse heritage, with an Arab father and an Irish mother of Jewish descent. Norma's entry into the entertainment world began when she won a beauty contest sponsored by a prominent Mexican magazine in 1959, which opened doors for her in film and television. Throughout the 1960s, Norma Mora became a celebrated figure in Mexican cinema, known for her striking beauty and versatility. She appeared in popular films alongside legendary stars such as Tintin, Viruta, and Capulina, and El Santo. Some of her notable works include Q Pura Vida 1963, where she played an antagonist, Los Astronautas 1964, and Santo en el Museo de Cera 1963. In addition to acting, she also showcased her talents in singing and dancing, recording a few albums during her career. Norma Mora was regarded as a sex symbol of her era, admired for her charisma and screen presence. Despite facing opposition from her family when she chose to pursue acting, her passion and dedication made her a beloved icon of Mexican cinema's golden era. Her death was publicly mourned by the Casa del Actor IAP Mario Moreno, which expressed deep sorrow over the loss of their cherished member. Norma Mora's legacy endures through her memorable performances and the significant impact she had on Mexican film history. Wendy Williams, born on July 18, 1964 in Seaside Asbury Park, New Jersey. Wendy Joan Williams arrived with the Atlantic surf rumbling beyond her window and the crackle of AM radio chatter always in the air. Her parents, Shirley, a special education teacher, and Thomas Sr., a principal-turned-college professor, celebrated her as the second of 3 children and quickly learned that their middle daughter was powered by volume, even as civil rights tensions rattled the Jersey Shore. The Williams household pulsed with music, debate, and laughter, giving Wendy an early masterclass in finding her voice and holding a room from the time she could crawl. She played beneath a radio perched on the kitchen counter, drumming her bottle in time with local DJs and soaking in the cadence of conversation that would one day define her career. At age 3, the family moved inland to the quieter suburb of Wayside, trading wind-scarred boardwalks for manicured cul-de-sacs, but keeping their dinner table symposium intact. Wanda, the high-achieving eldest sibling, dazzled with straight A grades. Little brother Tommy preferred chemistry sets. Wendy carved her identity by entertaining everyone. She read church announcements with theatrical flair, choreographed living room lip-sync shows, and commandeered the family tape deck to conduct mock interviews with neighborhood pets. Meanwhile, a rapid growth spurt left her both tall and plus-size by grade school, making her a target for teasing. Rather than retreat, she weaponized with discovering that a sharp comeback could silence bullies faster than any teacher could intervene, and laid the groundwork for the on-air persona, later famed for fearless honesty. Ocean Township High School in the late 70s South sharpened those instincts. Branded a chatterbox by teachers, Wendy flipped that label into political capital, winning a student council seat and reading morning announcements in a voice that echoed down every hallway. Feeling overshadowed by Wanda's scholastic trophies, she picked up part-time retail work, bought flamboyant outfits, and used style as armor against lingering insecurities about weight. When a guidance counselor asked about her future, Wendy didn't hesitate. "I'll get paid." To talk such confidence sounded outrageous, yet her parents saw real drive behind the bravado and steered her toward Northeastern University's communications program. Armed with homemade Wendy watch cassette demos, she landed in Boston in 1982, ready to hustle for airtime at campus station WRBB-FM. She devoured graveyard shifts, studied FCC rule books, and fine-tuned a delivery equal parts gossip columnist and protective big sister. While classmates clung to playlists, Wendy invented provocative call-in games to keep listeners awake past midnight. Summer breaks became internships, first fielding phones at WVIS on St. Croix, then filing tape cards at WRKS in Harlem. Legend says that when a St. Croix DJ overslept one sweltering afternoon, Wendy grabbed the open mic, rifted celebrity scandals for 20 electrifying minutes, and got both reprimanded and invited back. A snapshot of the audacity that soon became her trademark, graduating in 1986 with a communications degree and a resume stacked with station awards. Wendy stuffed her trophies into a hatchback, hugged her parents goodbye, and barreled up by 95 toward New York radio. Every future headline, raucous interviews, tabloid clashes, teary confessions can be traced to these formative years, when a whip-smart Jersey girl discovered that volume, vulnerability, and relentless authenticity could coexist inside one booming voice. Landing her first full-time gig at Wall in Washington, D.C., Wendy blitzed through overnights with the same motor myth velocity she once tested on campus. Radio listeners heard a 20-something who refused to smooth her edges. She dissected New Edition rumors, mapped out Whitney Houston's vocal runs, and still made time to advise callers on their love lives in real time. After 1 year, program directors at New York's Hot 97 lured her back north, handing her a coveted afternoon drive slot. The station's slick hip-hop image clashed with her no-holds-barred commentary, and feuds with rappers became on-air theater. Ratings spiked, so did complaints. Within 3 years, she jumped her rival WBLS, turning late drive into appointment listening across the tri-state area. Her Spill the Tea segment upset record executives, yet advertisers loved her lightning rod magnetism. Syndication soon followed, first in Philadelphia, then in a dozen major markets, cementing her as the most talked-about voice in urban radio. By the close of the 9 South, television executives took notice. In July 2008, DeMar Mercury rolled the dice on a -1 week summer test of the Wendy Williams Show, streaming live from Manhattan with a purple couch, a "how you doing" catchphrase, and Wendy's vow to keep things a little messy, a lot honest. The pilot outrated daytime veterans and won renewal before Labor Day. Over the next 12 seasons, she transformed the talk show format into a midday block party celebrity hot topics audience, Ask Wendy advice clinics, and impromptu dance breaks that went viral overnight. By 2015, the show aired in more than 50 countries, collected multiple daytime Emmy nominations, and turned Wendy into a multimedia brand. She authored New York Times bestsellers, launched a wig line, executive-produced Lifetime biopics, and hosted red carpet specials, all while letting viewers witness her own imperfect journey and authenticity that kept social media engagement and Live Plus same-day ratings surging. Film producers soon recruited her magnetic persona for cameo roles that doubled as built-in promo for her daytime empire. She voiced a wisecracking mechanic in Disney's animated hit Planes, popped up as herself in the ensemble comedy Think Like a Man, and stole a scene opposite Kevin Hart in its sequel by turning gossip tips into romantic coaching. She later executive produced and starred in Wendy Williams, the movie, a Lifetime dramatization released alongside the documentary What a Mess Together, delivering the network's top numbers of the year. Additional cameos in Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates and The Bridesmaid romp Bachelorette showcased her quick timing, while her Broadway debut as matron Mama Morton in Chicago earned standing ovations and extended the show's run. Each appearance fed back into her talk show ecosystem, creating a loop where every red carpet flashbulb translated into fresh ratings momentum. The very next morning, from the outside, Wendy's neon charisma looked indestructible, but behind the syllabus of hot topics, she waged a decade-long duel with her own body. Hyperthyroidism first set off warning bells when rapid heartbeat throbbed beneath her blazer during a live promo read, and doctors soon diagnosed Graves' disease, the autoimmune disorder that sent her metabolism lurching between extremes. Medication steadied her gaze for years, yet relentless tapings and nightclub appearances chipped away at rest and stage-light heat masked night sweats. In 2017, she fainted spectacularly during a Halloween episode, eyes-wide costume, crown-tilting, audience gasping, turning an on-air emergency into daytime legend and forcing her to confront exhaustion. She pressed pause in 2018 for a 3-week leave, only to return months later with fractured shoulder bones hidden beneath glitzy sleeves, the result of a household fall she blamed on vertigo flares. By 2020, lymphedema swelled her ankles, demanding compression boots and candid couchside demonstrations that converted vulnerability into education for viewers across the tabloid glare and confetti cannons. Wendy endured heartbreaks that rarely fit into a single hot topic segment. Early in her career, she miscarried twice and suffered a stillbirth at 5 months, each loss recounted later on air, not for pity, but to underscore the silent grief many viewers shared. In 1999, she married Kevin Hunter, her longtime manager, and a year later welcomed their only child, Kevin Jr., a milestone Wendy hailed as her miracle, yet the union frayed under the burden of public life, culminating in 2019 when headlines revealed Hunter's longtime affair and the birth of his daughter, with another woman filing for divorce. After 22 years, Wendy left the marital mansion, transferred production control of her show, and rebuilt from a Manhattan apartment, all while paparazzi trailed every exit, compounding the upheaval. Her beloved mother Shirley, her earliest champion and frequent show guest, passed away quietly in 2020, a loss Wendy announced tearfully months later on. When she found the strength to address it, she mourned in quarantine, separated from studio applause and the comforting routine of live broadcasting. Financial uncertainty followed. Wells Fargo froze her accounts in 2022 amid questions about guardianship, forcing legal battles that chipped away at independence she had guarded since college. Meanwhile, Kevin Jr. faced his own health struggles at university, adding maternal worrying to an already overloaded ledger of stress. Through each blow, Wendy channeled pain into transparency, telling her audience that resilience is a muscle you rebuild in confession at a time, and turning personal setbacks into teachable moments about boundaries, self-respect, and the hard reset that often accompanies public reinvention. When syndicated reruns of The Wendy Williams Show faded to black in June 2022, some predicted that Wendy's megaphone would retire with it. Instead, she pivoted to a quieter but calculated rebuild. Court-appointed guardianship placed a firewall between her and certain business decisions, yet insiders report she wields daily creative control from a Tribeca condo outfitted with podcast studio acoustics and racks. Ofnian Blazer's physical therapy sessions address lymphedema, while endocrinologists fine-tune her Graves regimen between appointments. She records rough drafts for her forthcoming The Wendy Experience podcast, promising unfiltered talk without commercial breaks. A 2024 two-part documentary on Lifetime chronicled this transition, turning financial freezes, family rifts, and relapse rumors into cautionary tale television that still trended #1 on X. Within hours off-camera, she licenses wig collections through HSN, consults on a plus-size athleisure lineage, Zoom lectures communications majors about finding their own air persona. Charitable efforts center on thyroid disease awareness and scholarships at Northeastern's WRBB, where she once spun vinyl at 2 a.m. evenings. Find her walking Hudson River Park incognito beneath oversized sunglasses, or taste testing gluten-free cupcakes for a planned cookbook. Though paparazzi lenses magnify every wobble, ratings analytics show her vintage Hot Topics clips now rack up millions of Gen Z views monthly. A digital afterlife she is harnessing through a strategic partnership with an OTT platform to curate archival content. Industry rumors whisper of a limited-run streaming talkfest slated for 2026, built around audience-submitted dilemmas. Filmed inside an intimate studio cafe, Wendy neither confirms nor denies brushing off queries with her trademark "how you doing" grin that hints at unfinished business. In private, she journals daily affirmations, visits her son at college football games, and plots a memoir sequel tentatively titled Still Standing. The once unstoppable Liv Wire has recalibrated into a deliberate self-protective force, slower yes, but still directing each headline with the precision of a seasoned producer previewing tomorrow's show in her mind, long before the red light blinks on from the fiery Whitney Houston phone clash in 2003, where Wendy's relentless probing about rehab sent ratings skyward, to the hot mic slip that sparked Jay-Z's death of auto-tune rant. Controversy became currency in Wendy's broadcasting economy. She dissected Aaliyah's final hours, debated Tupac conspiracy theories, and openly questioned Beyoncé's songwriting credits, each salvo fusing shock with sharp research so listeners felt scandal and substance in equal measure. Recallables threatened boycotts, callers jammed the switchboard begging for more on WBL as she pioneered Shoot Your Shot Friday, letting fans confront cheating partners. Liv weaving reality show tension into lunchtime radio long before streaming algorithms tracked virality. At the height of the 2004 FCC crackdown, she fenced cleverly with censors, bleeping her own punchlines, then posting full rants online, effectively inventing the after-show podcast before the term caught fire. Such stunts drew eye from peers, yet cemented her as the rare host who could skewer Mariah Carey 1 minute and console a tearful teen about body image the next, proving authenticity survives only when the microphone never blinks first. While her microphone remained the primary stage, Wendy translated visibility into a diversified enterprise that mirrored her own unapologetic flair. In 2010, she inked a multi-year partnership with Home Shopping Network to launch Wendy Williams Hair World, a wig and extension line marketed with the slogan, "Change your mood, change your man." The debut sold out in 43 minutes, smashing the network's hourly revenue record and proving her audience would follow her from gossip to glam. 2 years later, she leveraged that momentum into Adorned by Wendy, a jewelry collection of oversized hoops and statement cuffs that echoed her on-air wardrobe. Quarterly drops routinely crashed the site. Within minutes, book deals followed. Wendy's Got the Heat climbed the New York Times list, while her novel Hold Me in Contempt landed a bet movie option. Ever mindful of digital frontiers, she co-founded Queen of Media Productions, a boutique studio that packaged red carpet live streams, TikTok-length hotdocs, and docu-pilots pitched directly to streaming platforms hungry for built-in audiences. Financial analysts estimate her brand once generated over $15 million annually across licensing, speaking engagements, and product royalties, an empire built on the simple premise that candid conversation converts to consumer trust. Beneath the neon lights of show business, Wendy has long practiced a quieter generosity that traces back to her parents' mantra, success means nothing if no one else benefits. In 2004, she co-founded the Hunter Foundation, rebranded in 2021 as the Wendy Williams Foundation, devoting early grants to substance abuse recovery after her own public battle with cocaine in the 1990s. Partnering with New Jersey's Turning Point Rehab Center, she funded scholarship beds that have since aided more than 500 women in securing detox and transitional housing. When Hurricane Sandy ravaged her native shore, she dispatched tractor trailers of hygiene kits and personally hosted a week-long supply drive from her studio lobby, converting audience tickets into canned food donations. The foundation's annual Thrive 5K now attracts thousands to Liberty State Park, raising research dollars while broadcasting live segments that blend health tips with entertainment. During the pandemic, she rerouted Wigline profits to purchase tablets for undersourced public school students, insisting education needs more than applause at 700p. She remains a fixture at Northeastern University's Media Mentor panels, underwriting stipends so first-generation students can afford unpaid internships. Through these endeavors, Wendy reframes her headline, grabbing persona louder than life on camera yet off camera, applying that same energy to close gaps in healthcare, education, and disaster relief. Proof that the woman famous for pouring tea also knows how to pour back into her community. When media historians trace the lineage of modern talk, they will locate a catalytic spark in Wendy's microphone, and energy that rewired daytime expectations by normalizing candor. Once reserved for late-night radio long before going viral was a metric she minted. Phrases like "friend in my head" that jumped from studio echo to pop culture, shorter than, proving that parasocial bonds sell both ratings and merchandise. Pre-Twitter, her call-in confessions foreshadowed social media's interactive pulse, teaching networks that audiences crave participation, not passivity. Younger hosts, from YouTube's Tasha K to network staple Tamron Hall, borrow her confession campaigning, while podcastatins cite her as proof that niche honesty scales globally. Academia took note. Communication Salabi at NYU and Howard dissect her interviews as case studies in performative transparency, the art of sharing just enough vulnerability to earn trust without undermining authority. Even her wardrobe, bold prints, neon pompadours, pushed fashion to embrace plus-size bodies as style bellwethers rather than afterthoughts. Critics may bristle at her bluntness, yet streaming analytics reveal a simple truth. In an era of scripted sincerity, audiences still flock to the original architect of unfiltered talk, cementing Wendy Williams as both blueprint and cautionary tale for any voice daring to turn personal chaos into communal catharsis. Across a 3-decade arc that spans transmitter towers and television cranes, Wendy's resume accumulated a constellation of honors. Mapping her industry footprints in 2009, the National Radio Hall of Fame etched her name beside legends like Casey Kasem, acknowledging 15 straight years of double-digit ratings in America's top markets. Billboard magazine twice crowned her best urban radio personality, and The Hollywood Reporter placed her among its Power 100 Women in Entertainment, citing her uncanny knack for converting candid moments into commercial gold. The Wendy Williams Show earned multiple daytime Emmy nominations for Outstanding Informative Talk Program, while its social media team secured a Digital Content Emmy nod for pioneering fan-driven hot topic threads that consistently trended on Twitter. Within minutes of airtime on Broadway, her limited run in Chicago triggered a 20% ticket sales spike, prompting producers to add extra performances. Nielsen data recorded 2,500 original episodes produced under her banner, and output eclipsing Oprah's daily tally by the show's 12th season, and syndication deals delivered her trademark "How You Doing?" greeting into more than 15 million homes worldwide. At its peak, Forbes estimated her net worth once hovered near $60 million, a figure fueled by merchandise sellouts and a lucrative 7-figure contract renewal. In 2019, though medical leave prevented personal attendance, she nevertheless accepted a 2023 Gracie Award for Best Podcast Trailer delivered virtually from her apartment studio and underscoring her continued relevance in a fragmented media ecosystem. Hungry for authentic voices, operating without teleprompters, these milestones collectively chart an audacious career built on endurance, adaptability, and an unwavering belief that raw honesty is the most valuable broadcast frequency. Long before TikTok stitched duets and Instagram's reels, Wendy weaponized dial-up chat rooms to tease hot topics, but her true second act began in 2023 with an unofficial fan account. Clip it or vintage Beyoncé debate, and it clocked 10 million views overnight, proof that snappy 90 to Wendy wisdom could outrun Gen Z influencers. Have her age recognizing the algorithm's appetite, she assembled a lean digital team dubbed Wendy's Web Crew to curate bite-sized flashes from her 2,500 episode vault, tagging clips with time-stamped captions and sparking daily True Wendy Rewind challenges, where users lip-synced her sassiest one-liners. Simultaneously, she soft-launched the Wendy Experience on YouTube, live trading studio click lights for a ring light-lit apartment set and letting subscribers steer Theron down via Ray all-time super chat polls, a feedback loop that resurrected her hallmark audience intimacy while sidestepping network censors within 6 months. Channel membership topped 750,000, ad revenue surpassed her radio prime, and brand deals once frozen by legal guardianship returned through sponsored tea break segments featuring indie beauty lines. By 2025, she'd quietly brokered an exclusive with Spotify for season to distribution testing video podcasts that auto-populate vertical shorts for Reels and TikTok, effectively striding each recording across from monetizable platforms. Even her lymphedema compression boots became content, a weekly Swollen Sunday vlog series where she unboxed adaptive fashion and discussed chronic illness stigma, drawing praise from disability advocates and opening sponsorship talks with allied medical startups. In a media landscape where authenticity often feels algorithmic, Wendy's social resurgence demonstrates that the original queen of candid conversation can still bend new technology to her voice, one scroll-stopping clip at a time, even for a host accustomed to magnifying other people's secrets. Becoming the headline herself proved a high-wire act between openness and self-preservation. Tabloids tracked her every stagger outside Manhattan recording sessions, fueling whispers of relapse that clashed with her on-air assurances of sobriety. In 2019, she voluntarily checked into a Florida sober living house, later revealing that she shared a dorm-style room with 6 women in recovery and adhered to a strict 1000p. Lights out, an experience she described as humbling, healing, and absolutely necessary. The admission reframed addiction not as a footnote in her past, but as a chronic battle she must still negotiate daily. Mental health counselors were folded into her medical team, and she began weekly EMDR therapy to process the trauma of public betrayal and financial uncertainty. On the Wendy Experience podcast, she now devotes whole episodes to destigmatizing anxiety, midst candidly recounting panic attacks triggered by paparazzi flashbulbs. She has since partnered with mental health nonprofit Project Healthy Minds, offering grant funding for free therapy to low-income Black women who, like her, often juggle caregiver roles while fighting invisible battles. By choosing to narrate her vulnerability rather than hide it, Wendy is transforming the narrative arc from scandal to survivorship, proof that even the queen of hot topics understands that the hottest topic ultimately is the hard work of staying alive and sane in the glare of perpetual spotlight. In early 2022, Wendy discovered that an unexpected freeze on her Wells Fargo accounts had quietly set off a guardianship petition, thrusting her private finances into public record and questioning her competency over the very empire she built. Court filings hinted at undue influence from unnamed advisors. Wendy blasted back on Instagram, filming a barefoot beach walk in Florida while insisting that her cognitive faculties were absolutely intact. Yet a judge appointed a temporary guardian, effectively rerouting her multi-million-dollar income through court-approved channels and forcing her to request allowances for everything from studio decor to pet insurance premiums. Move ignited debate about how swiftly institutions strip autonomy from celebrities, particularly Black women, the moment chronic illness clouds perception. Wendy, ever the broadcaster, turned the ordeal into content. She blogged filings, invited elder law attorneys onto her podcast, and framed each delayed transfer as a teachable moment in financial literacy. In October 2023, she secured the right to choose her next guardian, signaling a gradual path back to full control while reminding fans that the mic can be your sword, but legal fine print can still swing the shield. Wendy's longevity owes much to the living organism she calls Wendy Nation, a fan base that functions less like spectators and more like co-authors in her unfolding saga during the WBLS years she pulled listeners on playlist tweaks. By the daytime TV era, they voted on shoe cam angles, essentially directing episodes from their couches. Now amid her digital renaissance, she has codified that interactive ethos into a Patreon style. Tire System tea timers receive unedited podcast tapes. Hot Topic insiders gain access to a private Discord, where they pitch segment ideas via voice notes, and co-host level patrons sit in on Zoom rehearsals, shaping follow-up questions before the red light blinks. This feedback loop mirrors live radio's immediacy, but scales it globally, letting a nurse in Detroit or a baker in Dublin annotate tomorrow's rundown in real time. The result is a media product that feels crowdsourced yet unmistakably Wendy, reinforcing the idea that her career is a joint custody agreement between host and audience, each dependent on the other, to keep the conversation crackling. Wendy's interrogative style, equal parts concerned and gossip insider, and cunning prosecutor, rewrote the rule book for celebrity sit-downs, forcing publicists to draft new crisis plans before they ever booked a client on her couch. She opens with flattery to lower shields, pivots to a nostalgic memory that disarms ego, then launches the third rail question with a comedic grin that dares the guest to bolt yet rewards candor with immediate redemption. The genius lies in her rhythm. Fast-paced snippets of Razumi praise, sudden silence, so long it vibrates, and a follow-up whispered just loud enough to feel conspiratorial, each beat engineered to make both studio audience and at-home viewers lean closer. Stars who surrender earn jubilant applause and menu-worthy sound bites. Those who deflect trigger a gentle but relentless forensic probe. Framed as concern over time, agents began scheduling media training sessions titled The Wendy Drill, teaching actors to maintain eye contact, preempt scandals, and pivot with humor and industry-wide acknowledgement that one Jersey bred interviewer had become a gatekeeper of culture credibility. From the moment Wendy strode onto television in 6-in stilettos and a chromatic wig, she understood clothing as storytelling. Shorter than her wardrobe team coined the phrase shock chic to describe the blinged-out thigh-skimming dresses that telegraph fearless femininity amid a genre alone coded for conservatively suited hosts. At Hot 97, she weaponized oversized bamboo earrings, urban culture emblems rarely seen in corporate studios, instantly signaling solidarity with listeners outside the boardroom. During daytime ascendance, the now legendary show cam transformed footwear into episodic cliffhangers, red bottom pumps for feisty gossip, rhinestone sneakers on Wellness Wednesdays. Each look doubled as a mood ring, allowing viewers to read her energy before she said a word. Costume historians note how her neon block color palettes mirrored hip-hop album art, blending street culture vibrancy with talk show polish and inviting audiences who seldom saw themselves reflected in midday programming. Even medical setbacks became style pivots when lymphedema forced compression sleeves. She commissioned custom, sequin-trimmed versions, reframing disability aids as glamour accessories. The result is a visual lexicon so distinctive that a silhouette alone, blonde lobs, cinched waist, dagger nails, can headline a meme. Without context, fashion houses that once ignored plus-size icons now court her for capsule collaborations, acknowledging that on a screen saturated with sameness, Wendy's Technicolor armor remains a masterclass in personal branding. Every hemline, heel height, and wig tint calibrated not merely to shock, but to underscore her message. Confidence is the loudest couture. Rather than chasing the nostalgia circuit, Wendy is designing her comeback like a multimedia chess game, thinking 3 moves beyond every headline. Top priority is the Wendy Experience 2.0, an hour-long hybrid show slated to stream simultaneously on YouTube, Live, Spotify Video, and a new fast channel under negotiation. The format blends hot topics, unscripted audience facetime calls, and a rotating panel of Gen Z co-hosts groomed to inherit her brand of fearless candor. She's also executive producing a limited series dramatization of her 2020 to guardianship battle, pitching it as I Wendy to premium streamers hungry for true life legal sagas. A partnership with Audible will yield a serialized memoir podcast, each chapter scored by up-and-coming black female producers to drop weekly until her written memoir arrives, creating a cross-platform ripple that maximizes press cycles. Behind the scenes, Queen of Media Productions is incubating a documentary competition where aspiring broadcasters tackle live gossip segments under stopwatch pressure. With Wendy as judge and mentor, she's quietly beta testing AI-generated Wendy avatars to translate clips into Spanish and Portuguese, eyeing expansion in Latin American markets. And because she's learned longevity demands divifione, she's prototyping a plus-size athleisure line that incorporates hidden lymph massage panels, turning a health necessity into fashion innovation. Each venture feeds into the next, forming an ecosystem designed to keep her voice, image, and entrepreneurial DNA circulating 24/7's proof that retirement isn't on her vision board. Reinvention is Wendy's 40-year odyssey compresses into 5 actionable Principles that apply whether a mic is held in a college booth or on a global stream. First, own your narrative before someone else monetizes it. She turned each crisis from fainting spales to guardianship battles into chapters she could package, frame, and sell on her own terms. Second, treat authenticity as a renewable resource. Audiences forgave missteps because she consistently returned with the same unfiltered cadence that hooked them in 1986. Third, cultivate controversy without cruelty. Her toughest questions targeted public actions, not private worth, proving that sharp commentary can coexist with empathy. Fourth, diversify every success. She spun radio ratings into wigs, books, Broadway, and podcasts, ensuring that when one platform faltered, another sustained momentum. Finally, convert fans into collaborators. By inviting Wendy Nation to shape content, she forged an engagement model that outlives any time slot. Each rule forms a rung on the ladder she climbed, from campus graveyard shifts to multimedia empire, illustrating that strategic transparency is the most resilient currency in modern broadcasting.